Thank you guys so much. I'm so incredibly humbled. I can't even, wow is not a strong enough adjective to use to describe how I feel about today, how I felt about this process. And so incredibly humbled to be here before you today. Dr. Hawkins, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. Appreciate your confidence in me. Like I said, I couldn't be more excited about this opportunity and about the opportunity to lead Troy athletics as we move forward. I do want to take a few minutes to say a few additional thank yous. First of all, I also want to thank the search committee. What a great group. I think anybody who's ever been through a process like this, you learn really quickly what the institution is about based on the people who are on that committee. And I knew about Troy. I've known about Troy for a long time, but my feelings about how special a place it was solidified when I walked in the room and had an opportunity to meet that search committee. So thank you guys so much. So very thankful for your time and investment into the program, and looking forward to working with you down the road. Board of Trustees, thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for all you do. I've heard some pretty special things, and I am so excited to get an opportunity to work with you moving forward, making Troy a better place. Sandy Atkins, thank you for your leadership during a time of transition. I've been in that role before. I know how that interim role works, and I know it's a demanding position when you're trying to juggle several responsibilities. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you. I've heard nothing but outstanding things about you, and I look forward to working with you and the entire staff. I want to say, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say thanks to John Hartwell. I've known John for several years. I know what he's about. I know from watching and from listening to people here that he did an amazing job while he was here. And we look forward to building on what John did during his time here at Troy. I do want to thank some people from the University of Southern Mississippi. First of all, I want to thank General Jeff Hammond, who hired me at Southern Miss. He took a chance on me, put me in a leadership position there, and I want to thank him for that opportunity. Bill McGillis, athletic director at Southern Miss, and I've been with him the last couple of years. And I walked up this morning, he was standing at the front door. And so he and Daniel Feig, our senior associate athletic director for administration over at Southern Miss, both got in the vehicle and came over this morning, drove about 4.5 hours. So I can't express to you guys how much that means to me. Thank you so much. And President Rodney Bennett at the University of Southern Mississippi. I want to thank him for having confidence in me during my time there, for really being a mentor for me as well, and I can't thank him enough for his time and how he treated us and our family during our time there. And of course, my family, my parents who made the trip over. Thank you guys so much for always being supportive, for setting the bar when it comes to compassion and selflessness. You guys mean more to us than you can imagine. My two brothers who aren't here today, Sydney and David, and their families. I've been blessed with a great support system, and they're guys that I can always count on, and that's meant a lot to me over the years, and I just want to thank them for that. And last but definitely not least, my family, my kids, my wife Christy. To say she's my rock would be a gross misunderstatement. She is an amazing woman, amazing wife, amazing mother, and thank you for who you are and what you do. As you can see, the Lord has blessed me tremendously, and that includes the opportunity to be here today. So when this process started, a couple of months ago, it started as many of them do. I got a text message from somebody who's close to the program. It was I think the day maybe John announced that he was leaving. I had not even had time to read about it yet, and just said, hey, I hope you would be interested in the opportunity. It'd be a great fit. It's a great place. And so that started the ball, and me doing my own research. But I really didn't have to do much. I've known Troy for many years. From the time in the GSC to moving to, winning national championships there, to moving to the FCS level, and then to the FBS level, and having success at all of those levels. And so I didn't have to be sold on anything. I knew what Troy was and what it was about, and those feelings only were solidified throughout this process. There were a lot of reasons that as we talked through this with my family, that I was and we were interested in Troy, and I think the first thing is the community. Troy as a community. Christy and I are both from small, close-knit communities in Mississippi, and we know what kind of impact that had on us growing up, and we were anxious to be in a community like that, to raise our children in a community like that. We've been in great communities throughout our careers, Cleveland, Hattiesburg, but we knew Troy was a good fit for us. And that's really, again, been solidified. The people we met, we actually, a few weeks back, snuck over one weekend into town when nobody was looking. And we just felt like, as a family, this was important to us, and we wanted to make sure that we knew what it was, and that, that we had kind of checked all the boxes and felt comfortable. And we did. We got here and just interacting with people around town, restaurants, hotels, whatever the case may be, only solidified our thoughts about this being a very, very special place. The second piece of the puzzle for me was the quality of the facilities here on this campus. I didn't know what to expect when I drove on the campus when we made the trip over, but we were blown away. I'll tell you, we were blown away. And the facilities here are as good as anywhere. Not as good as anywhere in the Sun Belt, as good as anywhere. And we've got a great opportunity, with those facilities to really build upon that, and from a recruiting perspective, from exciting our fan base. So that was a real thing that really drew my interest. And I'll tell you, this North End Zone project is going to be a game changer. I could not be more excited about jumping in the middle of that and being in that process. And it is going to be, that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a game changer. It's going to excite our fan base. It's going to be a huge boost to recruiting, and I'll tell you what, I've experienced it. It's going to change the atmosphere in the stadium, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get to that finish line very, very soon. Another big factor for us is Dr. Hawkins. I think any athletic director will tell you that the success of an athletic department, there's a close correlation to the campus leadership. And it didn't take long talking to people and getting to visit with him to figure out that he gets it. He wants to make Troy better in every aspect, including athletics. He understands athletics. He understands what athletics brings to the table, and he's dedicated to seeing us be successful. So that was a huge, huge piece of the puzzle for us. And then really the biggest piece for me was the fact that you take all that together. You look at what's going on with the facilities, leadership, the community, the coaching staff that's here, the athletic staff in place. And I honestly feel, and I said this to the committee many times when we visited, I really said it over and over, I think Troy's best days lie in the future. Troy athletics, the best days lie in the future. Every place can't say that, but I firmly believe that that's the case here. I think we are headed in the right direction, and the best days for this program are ahead. Let me tell you kind of what that means to me, or maybe give you some expectations of what I expect from our department, where our focus is going to be as we move forward and raise the bar. First and foremost, we're going to focus on our student athletes. We're blessed to do what we do for a living. It's cool to get to come to work at the football field or basketball arena or whatever. That's pretty special. That's awesome. But we're really blessed to have the opportunity to impact lives. And that's what's most important to me. And I told the committee too, I take it personally because college athletics had such an impact on me. I would not be here today if it weren't for the impact college athletics had on my life. It helped shape and mold me and prepare me for life, and that's our responsibility. When student athletes leave here, we want them to leave with three things: a diploma, a championship ring on their finger, and the skill set and the confidence to tackle the world that's waiting on them. And so that's where our focus will be. We'll make decisions on a daily basis based on how it affects our student athletes. And so that's what you can expect from us. Integrity. We're going to operate with the highest level of integrity. That means making the right decisions even when they aren't the easy decisions. It means following the rules, whether that be campus, conference, or NCAA rules. And we're going to do the right things the right way. We're going to win the right way. And I think it also means treating people the right way. I think that's a pretty important thing to me, that I do that, and that our staff does that, our coaches do that, and that we operate with the highest level of integrity. We're going to be campus and community centered. I know some people from the city are here today, maybe from city council, and I look forward to developing a partnership there. We're going to be involved as a staff, as student athletes, as coaches. We're going to be involved in the community. And you're going to see us out and about, and the same thing on campus. I just think that's such a big piece of the puzzle from a development standpoint and connecting people. I want everyone to feel a part of Troy Athletics, and that's about getting out, telling our stories, and ingraining ourselves in the community. We're going to maximize our resources. We're going to explore and maximize every revenue opportunity we have. I think it's so vital, and that's not something we're going to pin up on the wall and look at when we walk by. That's going to be how we go about our daily activity. Nothing's more important to us than making sure we maximize those resources, and that means asking everyone to join, our annual fund, the Trojan Warrior Fund. It means asking everyone to buy season tickets, but it's so much more than that. We're going to explore every opportunity, uncover every rock, and make sure that we're maximizing our resources, and then being creative and stretching those resources as far as we can. And then we're going to be focused at competing at a championship level, an elite championship level. I want us to be the premier program in the Sun Belt across the board. I'm not saying I want us to win a championship and just win a conference championship. I want us to be the premier program. The Bubas Trophy, if you guys are not familiar with that, is given to the top program in the conference at the end of each year, based on a point system and how you finish in standings in every sport. That's where I want our focus to be. It's not about one sport. It's about us as a department being the best. We're going to handle ourselves that way, and we're going to expect to be the best. And so Troy hasn't won that trophy, and that's going to change. That's going to be an area of focus. We're going to be laser focused on the areas where we have to improve to make that happen. I think that is going to be a main focus of ours. I'll tell you too, I'm a firm believer that, and from what I've seen, there are no barriers to success. One of my favorite football coaches says that. There's no barriers to success here at Troy. And I firmly believe that. What I've seen, what I've experienced, the only barriers are the ones we put on ourselves. And so I expect us to compete at an elite level, regionally and nationally. I want us to think big. I want us to be not only a premier conference in the Sun Belt, but I want us to be a program that when other programs are looking for the model program and how you kind of raise the bar and continue to move higher and higher, that they point at Troy and they say, that's how you do it. And that's my wish, that's my dream. Some people draw a line in the sand and that's their finish line. We want to win a conference championship. We're going to draw that same line in the sand at the same place. That's going to be our starting point. And I couldn't be more excited about what the future holds and about the opportunity to lead this program. Thank you, guys.
This time we'll take questions from the media, if anybody has any.
What's your opinion on student athletes getting a stipend, and how soon, if you're for it, how soon do you think Troy can get putting that out there?
I am for giving our student athletes every opportunity to be successful. And I think you mentioned the word stipend. I think you're referring to the cost of attendance, which really is an additional scholarship amount. I think we have to, speaking today without knowing the full landscape of where we're at, I think we have to make that happen. I think we have to figure out a way to make that happen. We got to give our coaches the opportunity to be successful. And I talked about a high level of expectation. A big piece of that is making sure our coaches have the resources to accomplish it. We can say it all we want, but we got to make sure that they have an opportunity to accomplish that. And so we have to figure out a way to make that work. I'd be speaking out of turn if I said today how soon I can think that'll happen, but it'll happen as soon as we can sit down and figure out a way to make it happen.
When are you gonna break ground on the north end zone? What day?
You may have to ask the guy sitting beside you. I don't know. Yeah, soon is you know, I know about the project. I know the details of the project. I don't know how many steps we've got to get to the finish line, but I do know that I've talked to some people. Coach Brown and I had a conversation about it, and obviously Dr. Hawkins and I have talked about it. It'll be a main priority of mine, and with the leadership team already in place to help move that to the finish line. And so I'm not going to give you a date today because I know how that works, but I'll say really soon.
How close are you to John Hartwell? Has he told you anything about this job?
John and I have known each other for several years. I was at Delta State when John was at Ole Miss, and so we had some interaction there and got to know each other a little bit. John, I have spoken to him. I've purposefully not asked too much of him. I just think, you know, you don't want to put him in a difficult situation. But I have talked to him enough to know the landscape. And as I was making the decision to move forward in the process, he and I had a frank conversation. And John loved this place. He loved the people here, and he had a lot of really good things to say.
Will you continue the drug testing that John started?
We will drug test. Now, the policy itself, I'll need to look at it, and it needs to be a prudent policy. It needs to make sense. It needs to be, you know, somewhere in line with what the NCAA guidelines and peer institutions are doing. But we will be drug testing.
What did you learn from working on this on a group of 5 conference level
Yeah.
in the last few years?
Yeah, I think some of the main things, and I'll say again, thanks to Bill McGillis. He's been, you know, the last couple of years, he really has and Bill's had a lot of experience at several different places, including in the Group of Five institution. So he had a great background there and really helped me grow in some of those areas. But I would say, I'll go back to where I said about maximizing resources. I think you just can't, you know, when you're in a situation where, you know, we don't have a $100 million budget. We don't have to. What we do have to do is be good stewards of our resources, be fiscally responsible, and be creative. And so I think that's the main thing. If we want to compete with people who do have larger budgets, we've just got to be creative and be good stewards of those resources. I think that's the main thing.